Hello, everybody. Is this thing on? Hello. Hi, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey, and this is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans. We're all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, where you're going. It just matters that you're here right now. Tonight, we're going to be talking about illegal people on stolen land. Because nobody's illegal on stolen land. And well, we're gonna get into that in just a second. So let's go ahead and get with the show first. And when we start the show, uh, I am I am really just dumbfounded by a lot of things these days because people want to yada yada yada, but they don't want to think things through. Because if they thought things through, then they might shut up, but they don't do that. So I see things. I see long-term effects. I see short-term effects. I see middle-term effects. That's why I've always been a number 2 person. I haven't been a number 1 person. I don't like being the person that's in charge of something. I do a really terrible job leading, but I do one hell of a job being the number 2 sidekick. So we're gonna do that. So let's go ahead and talk about the things we always talk about first. First of all, we the people of the United States of America, yay! This is the world population. You are sharing the planet. 8,275,000,000 people, and we are all in debt. It's absolutely amazing how in debt we are, right? So it's $38 trillion. You're going to see how China's in debt, Germany's in debt. I can't believe it. Germany's only $3 billion in debt. That's crazy. Japan, 11. But we are in debt. You can add all those other ones up, and they probably still won't reach what we have. So now that that is out of the way, let's talk about what happened. So what happened was I was sitting here minding my own business, and I was going to do a show on the Super Bowl because, hey, the Super Bowl happened this Sunday, and a lot of awesome stuff happened during the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. They won it all for the NFL this year. So congratulations to Seattle. Pats and all my friends that are up there in New England, I'm very, very sorry you had a bad day. And that was a bad day. It was not a good day. I just gotta still turn up my stuff, man. By the way, my computer's going really, really slow, so I apologize about that. So then, Perth, whatever the heck, somebody did a national anthem, and many people on the internet said that it was the 3rd best national anthem in the history of national anthems at the Super Bowl. So I went and looked at it, and I'll be doggone, it was a really, really good national anthem at the Super Bowl by Perth, P-U-T-H-P-R-T-H. I don't know. Anyway, you can look it up. Just go look at 2026 National Anthem Super Bowl or Super Bowl National Anthem, and it'll pop right up. It's already had a couple of million views. So go over there and look at it. That was the best thing that happened during the Super Bowl. Real quick to touch on halftime at the Super Bowl. I want to be careful with the way that I couch this. And do you want to know why? Because it is probably the least significant event in our country, yet everybody felt like they needed to weigh in and they needed to complain about it. And I did. So right after I saw it, I was like, hey, wait a minute. That was a great opportunity that was lost. So for those of you who do not know, Bad Bunny, who is a primarily Latino music artist, who's been streamed millions and billions of times around the internet, did the halftime show. And he did it all in Spanish. Now, Lady Gaga showed up, and Lady Gaga sang in English. So I got to acknowledge that. And Ricky Martin, Livin' La Vida Loca, Ricky Martin also did a number during the show, and he sang in Spanish. But he's a dual language, primarily Spanish superstar. And I love Ricky Martin. By the way, Ricky Martin still looks good. So, but the entire halftime show. Now, where it became controversial is the NFL decides to go get a major international star. Uh, he doesn't do real good in the United States of America, right? So I think that the highest ranked song that he had in the United States was somewhere between 50 and 100. He's never cracked like the top 40 in the United States of America. It's not what we do in America. His music is very Latino, very Latin. So that's not going to break into America. However, in Spanish speaking countries, very, very popular, very, very popular guy. So his name is Bad Bunny. But he also appeals because there's a little bit of rap in there, there's a little bit of Latino, there's a little bit of dancing. Look, he's a great performer. Matter of fact, in my post, I said that the production value of what he did at the Super Bowl was probably the best production ever done for production and direction. The camera work was amazing. The flow of the show was amazing. The way that they showed the bodegas and the way that they showed the culture and the way that they showed the streets, very, very Puerto Rican, very, very Latin. And the production value was amazing. When they went up on the electrical poles, I thought that like, hey man, they're still complaining, or they're making a statement about the situation after a big hurricane hit Puerto Rico. I was like, look at that, they're making this a little bit political. And then after it was over, I was like, did I miss anything in English? And I did. I went back and I watched the whole thing, and there was no introduction. There was no thank you. There was nothing. He said, God bless America. But he wasn't talking about our America. He was talking about the American continents, the North and South, because right after he said, God bless America, not in our context, not in the Kate Smith, I saying, God bless America. No, there was none of that. He was talking about the North and South continents because he mentioned everything from Brazil and Chile, which is in South America, up through Central America. And then he ended up with Canada and the USA, which is in North America, and Mexico. So, but he did not mention the rest of America, which is Samoa, American Samoa, and the Virgin Islands. And he did mention Puerto Rico, but there's another one I'm always missing. The Marianas. So the Marianas, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Puerto Rico. Oh, I'm missing somebody. I'm so sorry that I'm missing somebody. So anyway, just want to let you know. So he wasn't talking about us, because if he didn't mention American Samoa, he wasn't talking about our country. He was talking about those other countries. So why am I bringing this up? 3 days later, it's Wednesday, right? So that happened on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about it. So how big of a deal really was it? Well, Mickey, it's just indicative of the cultural shift we're having in the United States of America. Well, yeah, it is true, right? The most controversial thing that people had was he did not say anything in English, and he had cuss words. And listen, last year they had cuss words during halftime too. They've had a lot of controversial stuff happen in there. But my point is that the people that were on my page after I made my post were mostly respectful. But a couple of people threw out, wow, you have a lot of friends that are racist or bigots. And I looked at all the stuff and I was like, no, I don't think that's the thing. You cannot like the show and not be a bigot. You cannot like the music and not be a bigot. You cannot be the fact that English wasn't used, and you don't have to be a bigot. Now, that didn't happen a lot, but it did happen. And I just wanted to say that 3 days later, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So I want you to put this in context. Every single time that you see a post is, you don't have to have this visceral reaction. You don't have to have 2 cents. I did, but I was just encapsulating things. Hey, I thought the show was produced great, and I missed the fact that it was English, and I thought there was a great opportunity lost because Roger Goodell, prior to the Super Bowl, said on the pregame show, Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, said, Bad Bunny knows the message. He knows the mission. And then after that, when I saw it, I was like, wow, I wonder what the mission was, because I don't understand what the mission was. If it was to build a bridge, that sure didn't happen by not using any English. What I would have liked to have happened, I would have liked to, somebody just said, hey, have a song in Spanish. And then somebody in America put it in context and tell me what the mission was. Just tell me what the mission was. I don't want to be a hater. Nobody wants to be a hater. Well, some people want to be haters, but I'm not one of them, right? Tell me, Roger Goodell, what was the mission, right? So if he would have sang a song in Spanish and then said, hello, Super Bowl, didn't even have to say America, just hello, Super Bowl, or hello, everyone out there. Today, we're celebrating the contributions of the Latinos and immigrants to our great country. And then he did the rest of the show. If he would have done the rest of the show in Spanish, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared. Just put it in some freaking context. Don't leave everybody in the dark. 70% of the people in the United States speak only English. That's it. That's all that they speak. And just give them all the finger. I thought that was rude. So anyway, 3 days later, it does not matter. And that's what I would like to point out. 3 days later, it doesn't matter. Pray for Savannah Guthrie's mama. If you want to take some time for something, pray for Savannah Guthrie's family and her mama. That'd be worthwhile. All right, so let's get to the next portion of the show, which is a part of the show that I want to talk about, which is illegal people on stolen land. Let's go to this one. Let's go show them, Johnny. All right, so what happened? Well, this is what happened right here. There was a walkout against ICE agents. Your voice matters. No one is illegal on stolen land. It says it right there. And then the times at the start of the passing period between 5th and 6th, because this happened at Cabot High School. Yay, Cabot High School. And we only have one high school in Cabot, Arkansas, and this is where this happened. So somebody got brave. Now, in the state of Arkansas, it's illegal for people to walk out on classes. But here's the deal is about protesting. You don't really care what the powers that be say when you go, they can and they cannot do anything. You can't walk out of class. Well, I'm going to tell you, nobody's going to physically restrain a student from walking out of class. So that means that a student can walk out of class. And when they do it en masse, when they do a lot of people, then that means that you're not going to be able to stop them. So the student's going to be able to walk out. And then they just walk around. So they were going to go by Champs Hall, go around to the front, and do their little protest. And I read that, and on Cabot Strong, or one of the local Facebook pages, they had a conversation about this, and that's where I got this sign about the walkout against ICE agents. Now, the first thing I got to say about it is ICE activity in Cabot, Arkansas is very, very limited and very, very restricted. The only kind of ice we're worried about here is the kind of ice that goes in iced tea. And when you get warm iced tea, you know that warm iced tea is drinkable, but it's not as enjoyable as cold, fresh iced tea. That's why it's called iced tea. So, all right. Hey, who's that? Hey, Steve Hayes, Darla. Darla Joe said, no one is illegal on stolen land. LOL. Large numbers of Christians in our country. Wonder next year it could be a Christian show. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea, Darla Joe. Probably not. The NFL's probably not going to go with a Christian show, but that was a great idea. It was a performance to honor Puerto Rico. I wish they would have put that in context. Thank you very much. Yay, Seahawks. Hello, Miguel. Hello, Carolyn. So I hope you feel better. Weather is what So let's get back to this. Let's talk about illegal people on stolen land. You're right. No, no people are illegal. I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this context that people are they're rephrasing at no one's illegal. No one is illegal. You're 100% right. Illegal. Nobody's illegal, right? There's a phrase in the government inside of paperwork that says illegal aliens, right? And that would mean that they are breaking a law and that they are now being held accountable for that. And that's how they're going to count those people as those people are being here illegally. And the term illegal alien came in. So they're right. People are not illegal. 100% right. Because you're on the planet does not mean that you're illegal, right? You can be anywhere in the world, from the country, not in from the country, and you're not illegal just because you exist. That is 100% correct in my opinion. Here's where it gets a little sketchy. It gets a little sketchy inside of our laws, because in our laws, when they were talking about immigration, they referred to people that came across the southern or northern border, came into the United States without legal documentation or without a legal reason to be here. They framed the term illegal alien. Now, that is a category of people. It's not a people. It's not a person. That is a category that fun. Like if you commit a crime in the United States of America and you were convicted of a felony, you fall into a new category called felons. Now you're a felon. You fall into a category. So Christians fall into a category, right? So people are not Christians. People are not Christians. People are not Baptists. People are not Muslim. They're not Jewish. They're not anything. They join a group. And as they join a group, either ethnically, religiously, or for any other reason, now all of a sudden they can be referred to as that group. Christians, felons, Muslims, illegal aliens. See how that works? So you can be classified as a thing, even not wanting to be classified as that thing. So illegal aliens don't want to be classified as illegal aliens. The people that are walking out in Cabot High School also don't want them to be called illegal aliens. Okay. You can call them whatever you want. You will hear me say this point many, many, many times on this show. If you go back and you look at my tapes, I don't care what you call something. It is or it is not that thing. And I'm going to repeat that. I don't care if you change the name of things. I don't. You can call things whatever you want, right? You can call what would be a great example? Right? You can call the sexes gender. You can call the sexes gender all you want. So if you come down to gender, you can go, hey, you can identify as anything you want. You can be a furry, you can be a they, you can do whatever you want to. That's great. But it still does not change the fact that when people are born, 99.9% of them either have ovaries or testicles. That's just the way that it works. So it doesn't matter what you call them. It doesn't matter what the name is. So you can change the name of somebody that's going to be here illegally, and they're still going to be here illegally because they do not have proper authorization to be in the United States of America. So these kids are right on half of this. There's no such thing as an illegal person. You're right. But there are categories of people that make them fall into certain subcategories of our culture. And the people that are here illegally fall into that. Now, do they want to be here illegally? Probably not. They're just making a better life for themselves. But when a couple of shows ago, we went over the numbers for the people that came to our country and claimed asylum. And this is very, very important because people came over here, and before they would just come over, they would try to sneak into the country, and they didn't have a claim. But legally, then when they were found, they were like, hey, you don't have a legal claim to be in the United States of America. So then the NGOs that were down in South America, down on the southern border, what they did is they told them all, hey, if you claim asylum, you can stay in the United States, just don't get caught. And if you do get caught, what they're going to do is they're going to give you a court date. You claim asylum, they give you a court date, then you go to court. 30% of the people that go to court end up having a legally recognized reason to stay and claim asylum. 70% of the people do not have a reason to claim asylum, so they're going to be sent back. That means all of the people that are 70% don't show up, and 70% of the people that go to court now have a legal deportation order. That's what makes them illegal to be in the country. I hope everybody understands that. But I want to talk about the second part. Stolen land. This is important. This is important because we collectively, you, me, everybody in the United States, we got to work this stuff out. This is important. This is a technical, lawful question that is going to apply to you and me and everybody there. So originally, my first hot take when I saw this sign right here, right? This sign right here, it says, no one is illegal on stolen land. No one is illegal on stolen land. When I saw it, I made fun of them. I was like, yeah. Some of those kids might need to have a conversation with an adult who can explain to them exactly what stolen land means. We bought it in the Louisiana Purchase, and we have a piece of paper, matter of fact, signifying that we actually made the purchase. It was so big that it's called the Louisiana Purchase. The United States bought the land from France. And then you go, all right, so the United States has land. It was illegally given. France illegally had the. No, it wasn't illegally France's because France bought it from Spain. Remember the French and Indian War? Right. So when everything was said and done, Native American tribes were fighting on both sides of the Spanish of the French and Indian Wars. So the British were involved, the French were involved, the Spanish were involved, the Native Americans were involved. Everybody decided to split up. And at the end of it, everybody ended up losing. So we bought it from France. France obtained it from Spain, and Spain obtained it from France. So here's the whatever the realtors call the process of handing land from one person to the next person, right? So nobody had it. There was nobody that had the land. There were just people standing around, walking around. They were in small cliques. Some people call them tribes. Some people call them, right? So how big were these tribes? Were these tribes thousands of people, millions of people, billions of people? No, it wasn't, right? So there are several thousand people that now all of a sudden they claimed everything. So a few thousand people claimed millions upon millions upon millions of miles is what they're saying. So the Native Americans, all right? So the Native Americans were there, and then the explorers came, primarily French, up the Mississippi River and to the west of that, which is Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, all of the things that go straight up from Arkansas, all the way to Canada. And then Canada was also French. But then they were like, well, are they French? No, because there were Native Americans there too. So if you are one Native American in the country first, it's all of this shit's yours. All of this stuff is yours. Whoever was the first human being on our continent gets to claim the entire continent. So good luck to them and their family, because they're going to end up with everything. Do you want to know why? Because stupid people that walk out of Cabot High School and say no one is illegal on stolen land are insinuating that everybody in the process of getting to where we are today has stolen the land. Everybody. So if you own a home or you live in Cabot or you're here, you have stolen it because the purchase from the French was illegal. The purchase from Spain was illegal. The purchase from France was illegal. And the way that the French originally had it in order to sign it off and give it to the Spanish was stolen. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's say that that is true. Who? See, the tribes were not organized. The tribes weren't organized. What they did is they were like, hey, we don't have any land. There's no land. There's just stuff. It's just there's not our land. It's not your land. It's just land. And they go, well, where was your tribe? Well, our tribe was in this valley. Well, how big was the valley? Well, the valley, it went all the way from the sunrise to the sunset. And as far as the eagle can fly south, and as far as the hawk could fly north. That was the land. So nobody had the land until settlers came in. And then settlers came in and were like, hey, you know what? We did the same thing that the Native Americans did. We were just walking around and we planted roots. That's what a settler is. See, settlers and explorers, they just walk around until they settle something. They go, hey, look here. We got some fruits and some berries. We have good land to fertilize. We got some rivers and some lakes in order to fish. We're going to settle here. Some of the land was in dispute. Sometimes the Native Americans killed the settlers, and sometimes the settlers killed that, and the land was in dispute. But there, everybody was just walking around until somebody went, hey, look here, I'm going to claim this, and I'm going to put a fence around it to keep out all the bad people. So you're telling me that the Native Americans have more claim to the land than people that were just walking around and settled, because that's what the Indians were doing. The Indians were just walking around, and then they settled in a place. And then these other settlers came in, and they did. And you got to remember, this is in the 16, 17, and 1800s. There's not a lot of record keeping out there. There's no record keeping. Do any of the Native American tribes have a piece of paper that predates any colonial showing up from anywhere in Europe? Do they have a piece of paper? No, because they were all verbal. So it was all verbal. Well, who said that you owned this land? My dad said that our people take care of this land. Awesome. Well, how come Billy and Bobby Sue Williams, who just came over on a boat in a Mayflower, couldn't just walk over here and do the same damn thing? So the claim that it's stolen, it's not stolen. People just walking around. But here's my biggest problem with this. I haven't even got to the biggest problem. The biggest problem is, let's say that we all agree that the land was stolen. Let's just say that. Let's just go. We're going to just say, all right, all the land is stolen. All the land is stolen. What in the hell do we do then? What do we do? Where do I go? I just go, okay, I just pack up my shit and I put it in boxes and I put it in my car and I drive around forever because I will never, ever, ever have land. That's it. It's stolen and I'm screwed. It's stolen. You're screwed. It's stolen. All the kids in Cabot High School are screwed. We all got to pack up our shit and we all have to leave. Where are we going to go? It's stolen. Now, okay. Now what? Now what? Pick a day. Pick a day. And figure out who stole what from when. I want to see the paperwork. I would like to see a report. You guys are all Cabot High School students. So I want to see the dates. And then I want to hear what your best idea is to do next. Because here's what the deal is. You're not leaving, Cabot High School kids. You're not going anywhere. And all of your parents that are encouraging this stuff, good for you. It's right, your protest. As a matter of fact, it's right here in the Constitution of the United States of America. Oh, freedom to assemble. How about that? So you just did assemble. And what you did is you just declared some of the stupidest shit that I've ever heard in my entire life. You want to know why? Because you're a parrot. You're a parrot. You're just repeating the shit that you heard. You don't have an original thought. You're just sitting around and go, it's illegal and we don't like ICE. It says ICE agents. They're walking out against ICE agents. We haven't seen an ICE agent in Cabot, Arkansas in the history of ICE. They're just not coming here. They're going to protest ICE agents. Good for them. Super proud. Super proud of them. All right. I just got a notification of something. I don't know. Darla Joe says the whole way of thinking falls in with reparations for slavery. So those kids ready to be homeless? Exactly. It's a shorter than people who have broken laws by coming to the U.S. without documentation. Never heard of Bad Bunny before the Super Bowl announcement for him. All right. So those are some of the comments. Thank you very much. See, they don't have a plan. They don't have a plan after they say the land was stolen. This is what makes it so stupid. If they had a plan, if they had a way of workaround, how many times have you heard the phrase, if you don't have a solution, you should just shut the F up? That's what's happening right here. All of these people, all of these protests, you don't have a plan. So what happens if you get everything you want? Nobody's illegal. Awesome. What are you going to do about the laws? Because that's where we're at now. Nobody's illegal. Right. Nobody's illegal. We agree with you there. Nobody is illegal. However, what are we going to do about the laws? Because the law says you got to take these people when we find them. Doesn't matter what category you want to say. They're not illegal people. They just broke a law. What are we going to do then? Go change the law. Go to Congress. Go vote somebody in who's going to go change the law. But until the laws change, too bad. It's not going to happen. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to tell you, no people are illegal, but laws have been broken. Go change the law if you don't like it. That's where I am with that. Sorry. Number two, what do we do about stolen land controversy? And it doesn't matter. It does not matter one iota what you think when you get your way about stolen land. That means you lose everything. You lose everything because you're on stolen land too. TOO. That means also. You are on stolen land also. All of you smart high school kids that walk out and complain about stolen land, they should have just stuck with no one is illegal. That way they wouldn't have to be so fucking stupid. All right. I got to go. That's my rant for tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Anyway, my name is Mickey. This has been Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans where all Middle Americans are welcome. Doesn't matter where you've been, where you going, just matters that you're here right now. Remember to like, share, hit the subscribe button if that's actually a thing where you're watching. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate everybody showing up every single week. You guys be good. Take care. Love you. God bless.